Hey, it is Evadyne. Welcome to Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to. And today it is going to be comedy a la carte. Now, many of you may not know what a la carte is, but it's kind of like when you go to Burger King and have it your way, start with the burger and the bun, then you can add the cheese and the lettuce and the tomatoes, or if you're out at another type of food establishment, you start with the basics and then you add what you want. So a la carte in actuality is from the cart. You can choose anything you like to add to the main plate. So comedy a la carte. Why? Because I think I'm funny, but I'm usually funny, as my friend tells me, you're not funny, you just tell good stories. So I said, ha ha. But anywho, this is Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to. We are on the Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Progressive Podcast Network. You can call in to 520-525-8633, and you can get the entire show lineup anytime you like. Anytime you like. Just listen to the show lineup and plug into a show that fits your fancy. Many of them are fancy, too, but you don't have to dress up to attend because it's all virtual, and you can go to the YouTube. Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself. You know you're at the right place because you will see the hot mic. Hey, what can I say? Then you can also go to my YouTube, like SSR.com. Like SSR.com. And that is intended to remind you that when you get there, like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. Like SSR.com. Following my show today, so I don't get, too hilariously funny and forget, is at 6:30, you have Kai, who brings community and innovative ways of building community and working together, like Kwanzaa, year-round and for purpose, which is one of the principles, correct? Correct. Following Kai on Monday is King David. He is a wealth of information in the area of health and wellness, seed, nutrition. The name of his show is BS. But it's really about you choosing how and why being healthy is important to you and how he can help and or how we can all help one another. Every morning at 7 a.m. we have a prayer line, and on Tuesday at 6 o'clock we have Grace Space with Jada, Deborah, and Karen. And we also have at 7:30 p.m. the Pink Sofa Talk with Carol Lucille on Tuesdays. Now, Tuesdays with Carol Lucille, the first and third is ladies only, ladies meaning females, and then the other Tuesdays, everybody's welcome to join. So, however you identify, just show up, So we are on Grown Folks Talk and Express Yourself, and I'm pretty excited about today. Well, let me stop. I'm pretty excited about life, but today is interesting because I want to practice with you. I want to kind of do virtual improv. So I want you to tell me a subject, and then I'll tell you a story around that subject. Since my friend Keith said that I'm not funny, I shouldn't do comedy, I just tell good stories, I just want to tell a couple of good stories today. How's that? I hope that sounds good to you. So, sounds good. Okay. So if you want to give me a subject, I'll tell a story. Or if you want me to tell my first story, I'll tell my first story. Which do you prefer?
Tell your story.
Okay. Tell my story. So today, after doing one bit of my business, of course, as most of you know, is taxes, right? I stopped into a health food store because I wanted to get some wheatgrass. Since we've been talking about it here on the podcast often, wheatgrass is very powerful and very nutritious and good for the body. And one of our hosts here on Grown Folk Talking, Michael Tyson, you can find him every other Thursday, the first and the third. He sells the wheatgrass, right? But I felt like I talked about it so much to my client that I wanted to get some. So I go into the first health food store that I see, just so happened, and Joseph, the gentleman he is, didn't have the wheatgrass, but he made a combination smoothie. And here's what it's called, and this is what I'm now drinking. So if I turn into something different while we're talking, call somebody. I am drinking a combo smoothie. It's titled Strong Man Blast and Bedroom Blast. So, if by some chance I either start growing some things or I start moaning differently than I usually moan, just call somebody. Yeah, don't join me. But no, but each of the each of the smoothies had some just basic general ingredients. It had hemp, oat bran, it had protein, strawberries, flaxseed, it had cantaloupe, just stuff, that anybody really, really, really could take in. But I didn't let those titles scare me. Strongman Blast and Bedroom Blast. It should be a good night tonight, just saying. Okay.
Hey, Sage.
What do you? Hey, Adrian, how are you today?
I'm blessed, and yourself?
I'm a blast, as I just mentioned. So I'm a blast because I'm shrinking. I'm drinking Strongman Blast and Bedroom Blast smoothie. What do you think of that, Adrian?
Does it make you a strong man in the bedroom?
I'll see tonight, right? I'll see tonight because right now all I can handle is this mic. So and it ain't no, I won't. You're right. Anyway, all I can handle.
I need the ingredients. I'll make some now.
Exactly. It's like we don't want to be afraid of titles. We want to dig in and look at the ingredients, Like when I was at my favorite my health supplement store, Invite Health, I asked them if I could use Prostate HX. So they looked at me and they were like, Evadyne, really? I said, well, what's in it that would hurt me? Because the way I looked at it, your prostate is part of a man's urological system. But we women have pretty much the same things, minus a few lengths and strengths. So I felt that unless there was something in there specifically that was going to make me grow a mustache or a beard, then what's in there that can't hurt me? And I tell you, it was 2 months later when Jerry Hickey was on his show and he recommended for women with incontinence, that's not me, all right, sit back down, but for women with incontinence issues, he recommended Prostate HX. So I had to go back to the store. I said, see, I told y'all. Because, I'm sorry, in my introduction, I didn't mention to you all that I have antennas. Maybe I'll have some props when I go to stage. So, Adrian, today is about comedy a la carte. Are you familiar?
I can imagine what it is.
All right.
I know what it is, and I know what a la carte means.
Well, see, that's that Brooklyn girl. Whoop, whoop. So, yeah. So I am introducing, Evadyne. That's me. Evadyne is introducing comedy a la carte. This is my first. No, this is actually my second comedy video, but it is my first on the Grown Folk Talking Network. Because I have a friend, once again, named Keith, who tells me I'm not funny, I just tell good stories. So I'm here to tell good stories. And the a la carte is you give me a subject and I'll tell a story. So, who's ready to shoot me a subject?
Okay. I'll say something since nobody's speaking.
You are somebody.
I know I is.
There you go. Go ahead, Adrian.
Children. I'll make it easy.
No, that is not possible. When it comes to children, it's never easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. You give your all.
Talk about children.
Yeah, you give your all. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Children are funny by themselves.
They are. And when we talk about children, the funniest thing is the adults who do not recognize the value of children. But I tell people in my book, oh, hey, you guys, I have 2 books. One is titled Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. And the other one is titled Mind is to Mental as Teeth are to Dental. And ding, 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 we all have a mind. And I don't want to shock anybody with that, but I tell people in the book, children are so valuable to what we need to know. We have little ones running around, and you'll hear the adults say, oh, that child's been here before, not realizing literally what they're saying. They're acknowledging that the spirit of that child is older than that child's age. And that really goes to understanding, if you like to, the process of life, birth, passing, transition, and what happens to all that you have learned while you were here. Does it just go away when you go away, or do we pass it on? But children are awesome. They're awesome little folks, but they are really little people. So we want to respect them for the little people that they are. But I remember having a young man in the car because I Uber, and him and his granddad got in my car as customers, and they sat down, and he said, go ahead, the grandfather. He said, go ahead. And I said, okay, and I'm starting to drive. He said, no, go ahead. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, according to the reviews, they say you're a great conversationalist. So go ahead. And I was like, oh. So I told him, pick a subject. And he said, television. So I looked at him in my mirror, and the grandson is looking at him. The grandson's about maybe 15. They had just come from the movies. Isn't that a nice thought, right? And so I said, Sylvania, picture tubes, transistors. The grandfather looked at me. He said, what do you know about this stuff? So I said, my father was an electronic genius, and he repaired probably most of the TVs in Brooklyn. And he was like, but, I said, I understand. The grandson was laughing so hard because it kind of threw his grandpa off just a little bit. I guess when he said television, he thought I was going to talk about the nigger shows. No, I ain't talking about the nigger shows. And I ain't talking about Jerry Springer. And I'm not talking about Maury. But I just looked at him and his age, and I took it to where he would truly understand. And that was pretty funny. But children are wise. Children are wonderful. And they'll tell you exactly what's on their minds. But you have to be prepared to receive it. You have to be prepared to receive it. So I love the little buggies, And guess what? We were all once children. So welcome to the real world. Welcome to the real world. Go ahead. Another subject.
Wait, I thought you had an antidote. Oh, that was your antidote for children?
That is it.
Oh, okay.
Next. Okay. So Here we go. I'm going to tell a story, and I don't mean for the story to be funny. But yesterday, I woke up and again took lessons from one of the greatest comedians we have. So you all may know I absolutely love Cat Williams. Love him. I love him because he tells the truth. He tells the truth. And I love his expressions. And I love Dion Cole. Dion Cole is funny, too.
Oh, man. I've seen him live several times.
Ah, man, Stitches. And so this is Dave Chappelle. And it was interesting because he is, again, very informative and funny. And he was giving lessons to Will Smith. Now, the funny in this is that I had already decided I wanted to go into stage performance. I want to go into speaking. And when I go to speak, I amuse people even though I'm not amusing them. I'm not trying to amuse them, right? But in that decision and getting up yesterday morning and just opening up my phone and seeing what was happening, there we had Dave Chappelle giving Will Smith lessons as he's moving into, one of his fears of stand-up comedy. And I said, this is so perfect because one of the things he said, Dave Chappelle, to Will Smith is that you want to tell your story. You want to tell your story, and if you're not funny, you at least want to be interesting. So I will now ask the audience, if I'm not funny, right, am I at least interesting today so far? I'm sorry?
You asking us if you're interesting?
Oh, well, if I'm not funny, am I at least interesting?
Very.
One or the other, right? Very. Very. Okay, I'll take.
Very rich. Oh, wait, very interesting or very funny?
Very interesting.
Okay.
Gracias, senor. Gracias. So these were the three pieces of advice Dave Chappelle gave to Will Smith. Confidence is the key. Pick the right blank to talk about. And again, if you're not funny all the time, at least be interesting. Because it's all about captivating your audience. Captivating your audience. And you're not going to get everybody every time, like me and my two husbands. We're not going to get everybody every time. Not for keeps. You might make half the room laugh or a third of the room laugh, and then the other third of the room will look at the other third of the room and like, what are they laughing at? What's funny? Because funny is different for people depending on who they are and what they know. Some people could watch slapstick, Little Rascals, young people, slapstick comedy, right? And find it super hilarious. And some people can watch a movie where the underlying message is funny. So I was with a client today, and I remember they said a couple of things about the mom who I had never met. So I was sitting there doing my work. It dawned on me what they said about her, which was she keeps the house so hot. And why did I remember this? Because as I'm sitting there working, I'm starting to sweat. Right? I'm starting to sweat. And it dawned on me, that's the one thing that they clearly said about her. But I couldn't say that out loud, right? But I laughed. I had to wipe my tears. That's how hard I started laughing to my head joke. The things that you kind of remember when you least think about it, All right. Give me a subject.
And different things I learned in my field, because I do comedy plays, and I learned that different things are funny to different people based on their experiences.
Mhm.
You know, and you touch on a subject that they can relate to, and that's when you get the tearful laughing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
And it's funny because I'm always amazed at people like don't think that other people have that same experience. Like, but when they find out that somebody else does, they're standing on stage and talking about it. Oh, it's hilarious. While other
you
people are
think you
like, I don't get it because they've never
I don't get it. And
that.
you think you're the only one,
Right.
and I tell people that all the time. Nothing is new. Nothing is new. So I have a question for the audience. Do you know if you saw the message? So in the message, I asked you to eat something sweet
Mhm.
before you come to this show today. Do you know why I asked you to eat something sweet?
But you want my diabetic numbers to go up.
No. Anybody else? Okay. Because I wanted you to be basted for my performance. Because people tell me I'm kind of sweet. So I didn't want to give you the sugar rush. I wanted you to already, kind of be there just a little bit. And I said when I go to stage, that's going to be the centerpiece. Different types of natural, healthy, sweet options. That's what I'm going. That's one of my props. One of my props. But here's a question: has anyone ever laughed so hard without knowing what they were laughing at, or whatever they were laughing at wasn't that funny, but they just couldn't stop laughing? Anyone?
I have, because I tend to. Sometimes somebody would say something, not necessarily a joke, but say something that for some reason, um, the old people used to say tickle my belly, and I can't even explain exactly why it was so funny, but I would laugh until my eyes are tearing.
So, it's a good kind of laugh, and so I'm actually thinking that if in continuing this comedy a la carte, which I will have guest comedians or, oh, hush, I know somebody just said it. Yeah, thank you, because you're not really funny. But it's okay. But I'm here, and you're there. But it also didn't cost you anything, so we're even. Now, in the beginning of this talk, I was speaking about my juice drink. And I started to mention Joseph and where Joseph is located, where I actually got the smoothie, just in case anybody's interested. It's at 22514 Linden Boulevard, Cambria Heights, 718-413-5334. Joseph made this strongman blast and bedroom blast smoothie with a hint of ginger. I asked him, what's the heat in it? And he said, it's ginger. I said, I like that. So again, let me look in the mirror. I'm still looking like a female. I have nothing growing. That means I'm looking in the mirror up close. Okay, good. We're good. So here's my laugh. I had company. Before he arrived, he smoked hashish. Right? Aha. When I opened the door, I started laughing. I didn't know at the time. I just started laughing. And when I tell you I laughed all night long, I, I couldn't stop laughing. And I knew I was laughing at nothing, and nothing was really funny, but that became the funny. The fact that I was laughing at nothing and couldn't stop laughing. So he suggested, do you all know what he suggested?
You had a contact high.
He suggested I need to just go ahead and smoke it. he was like, you should just go ahead and smoke it. Yeah, that's what I had, though. Yes, I had a contact high. It was so all night long. I laughed. And I mean it was good. It was a grand laugh. Hilariously funny. So here's a story. I'm sorry. Would anyone like to give me a subject? Don't be afraid. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Don't be afraid. Ronnie Dyson, right? Don't be afraid.
Turn off TV.
So, okay, next. Go ahead. Somebody cleared their throat. Was that you, Adrian?
Yeah, and that's all it was, me clearing my throat.
All right. That's okay. That's that natural function in life. Thankfully, it's still happening. Okay, so I have a book that's being developed still. She's a little late. It's called Letting Loose the Juice, a Relationship Shifter. And so many people wanted to be in it, and they wanted to be anonymous. And I told them they were already in it. They were already in it. I already put them in it. Because I know stories, and I tell people, I will tell your story, but I will not say your name. I won't even fake a name. I'll tell your story, though. So here's one. Couple married. Husband a little different, a little odd. ODD. Came from an odd family, according to the neighbor. And in the oddity of this gentleman, he actually changed, on a negative level, the finances of his spouse. His spouse made a decision before he came in from work. She made the decision that he would not be coming into that residence when the new month came in. She was going to definitely ask him to leave. So she did. And his mother wanted to know why. So she told the mother that she needed more space. She needed space in the environment that they were living in, and that she learned from that thing that he did that she didn't matter to him. So that combination is an exit combination. And the mother said, I've never heard of anybody needing space. And that helped me to understand why he thought and acted and behaved the way he did. Because when she's telling me this, I'm looking at the mother and the husband being a product of the mother. And that's really key and critical. I heard someone say the other day, if I don't meet your mother by the second or third week that we decide we're serious, if I don't meet your parents, then we can't get serious. Because it's important to know people's relationships and their DNA to really understand who they are. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree.
Thank you.
I have the
Sometimes,
same rule.
yeah, because sometimes we're involved with people, but we're not really involved with them. And we could like them to no end. We could even love them. But unless we know who they really are, which goes deeper than their surface, we really don't know who we're with. And then we go back to your subject of children. You have children who are products of two people who could be the opposites of each other, and then don't understand why the children are torn, why their behavior is unexplainable, but also where they get their creativity from and their qualities and their traits. Because if you don't know enough about your mate and you're blending with this mate, it's all new. It's all new. So that's why children they're exceptional creatures, and we need all the patience in the world to learn how to deal with them. to learn how to accept them for who they are, because they aren't us. They're a product of the us's and the us's and the us's and the us's and the us's. We need to understand that so we could be living in a happier place, in all honesty. I was going to say all jokes aside, but it don't seem like we had any. So, anyway, subject.
Well, on what you just said, in my field of family counseling, I always, when I'm talking to people who are a couple, especially starting out, I always ask them about their relationship with the other person's children. And a lot of people don't think it makes a difference. You know, he or she is having problems with custody. I don't want to get into all of that. I don't want to get in the middle of all that. But it is going to affect the relationship. Not that the children are in control, but you can see what you're getting into by meeting the children on both sides, you know.
Absolutely.
They know that the children, you can't dismiss the children.
Absolutely. And I had said one day that if I was going to meet someone and consider them long term, okay, whoever's listening to this, if you feel like you're a consideration, don't just do this because I'm saying it. But I'm saying if you don't honestly love and care about children and seniors, then I don't think I could have much time for you.
Yeah, I'm the same.
On a serious note, because they are our future. Both of them, both of those groups, seniors and children, are my passion. And how they're treated is so important to me. So if you are a person, let me be clear, if you are a male, you have to put some clarity in that, um, with an interest in me, I don't know why, because I'm not funny, but anyway, you have to literally, figuratively, and wholly love and care about children and seniors. We don't have to have a cat. We don't have to have a dog. Fish are cool, but children and seniors is a priority for me. It's a priority. You could be broke. That'd make two of us anyway. But you could be broke, right? But as long as you have that compassion, that was the funniest thing I said today. Okay, I'll take that. I heard a chuckle. I heard a chuckle. But really, I mean, that is just the thing. It is the thing. Subject. Anyone? Okay, so we have a show on our network, and it's CCC. And I am not usually at a loss for words, right? Not really a loss for words. I may choose not to speak words like I did. So this let me remind me of CCC just in case I forget. But there was an event, a meeting that many were present at, and I was present, but I was silent. And I've been at this meeting present and silent on several occasions, actually, present and silent, because I've learned that silence is golden. And when I learned that, let me say this, you have to know how to stay in your lane. So I have learned how to stay in my lane. So I am present but silent when I'm in the vehicle and need to stay in my lane. And you can't suck me out. What? Well, wait, what's the name of this darn drink? I'm trying to hold my tongue.
I think I want a little bit too.
Wait, strongman blast and bedroom blast, the combination with a hint of ginger. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. But
I drink a lot of ginger in a lot of my drinks, and it don't affect me like that. So it's got to be that
Ah,
mother ginger in it that got you giggling like that.
well, it's my mind. My mind. My mic sounds nice. Check one. But no, really. So, okay. So what I was meaning is that
The
you cannot
CCC.
you cannot lure me out. Thank you, Adrian. You cannot lure me out into a space that I do not choose to be in. And I hope that everyone knows and takes that position, that sometimes you can be present without being present. So
Mm-hmm.
CCC had a show, and they were speaking about, here's my loss for words, right? They were speaking about the hip hop rap era. I knew. I'm not going to say nothing, only 1% of what they were talking about. And when I tell you the men dominated their show that night, and that was the most enjoyable part for me, is hearing the brothers talk that jive. Man, it was deep. It was I felt like I was literally visually there, like in an audience watching and listening to them, but I knew nothing but maybe 1% what they were talking about. But other than that, I think I'm pretty good. Now, I will say that I am aware of the change in the music and the lyrics and the artists and the messages. I'm aware of that, but to know who was singing what and how and none of that. But I truly enjoyed listening to the brothers do their thing. I almost felt like I needed popcorn. That's how it was a great show. And you can find it, I hope, I don't know if it was recorded on the YouTube, the Grown Folk Talking YouTube.
Yeah,
I'll look for it.
they always record.
Yeah, it was a great, 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 great show. Okay. Subject? So this is
Oh,
comedy a la carte, and I am told I tell good stories. So continue. Okay. So oh,
I,
go ahead.
I was heading up to the Adirondack Mountains, and it was so rural up there. Out of the clear blue sky, I said, they've got toilets up here.
Hmm.
And I just started laughing.
mm-hmm.
I don't know where that thought came from.
They were like on the road.
Well, it was homes up there, a few homes here and there. It was like dotted in the mountains.
Like cabins, right?
And out of the clear blue sky, I just said, they've got toilets up here. And
Like
then
they could really, like no outhouses.
I don't know why I said that.
Okay.
I guess it's because I was trying to figure out how do they get running water and what do they do with their sewage.
Mm.
And I'm by myself. And all of a sudden I just said, they have toilets up here. And I started laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is a
I
funny
give,
thought.
Yeah. Um, just like when I started sweating and realized what the family had said about this beautiful lady, that she keeps the house absolutely. Wait, and everybody was sweating. Let me just say that. The husband was sweating, the son was sweating, and she was just as comfortable. She was just as comfortable. But if that's the worst thing somebody would do at home, hey, toilets are not bad. But isn't it something how you could be not thinking but thinking? Because I do that now. I'll ask, oh, this fine guy in the store the other day. He was just a darling Pisces. Turned out to be a Pisces. John Brown it. And I said, what are you thinking? And then he told me what he was thinking. Like I was on a bus one day and this gentleman was sitting, older gentleman, and he was sitting across from me and just kind of like staring out into space. And I said, sir. So he said, yes. I said, what are you thinking? And he said, I don't know. We don't pay attention sometimes to ourselves. And I do have a habit of, I'm going to say stirring the pot just a little bit because I know we're not paying attention. Like, of you who are listening live, how many of you watch the sun rise, literally? Well, Adrienne, I know.
I
Okay,
used
so for
to.
you, yeah, I was going to say, how many of you have experienced watching the sun, like deliberately watching the sunrise in the morning?
I used to love watching the sunrise, and I used to look forward to watching the sunset.
Mm.
And my mother said, "You run upstairs at the same time," and she knew why. And she said, "I don't know why." I said, "Because that gives me peace."
Mm.
You know, different things give us peace based on where our mindset is.
Mhm. And when you deliberately know it and deliberately go to it, that's awesome. And so, listening to many of your stories, Adrienne, I often wondered if you had an insight that you would lose your sight because your mind was very keen on remembering things and detail. Does that make sense what I'm thinking?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
We don't.
problem is now, um, I don't have that ability like I used to have about remembering details. But being a creative person that I am, I would look at the before and the after, what I'm trying to think about, and I'll just put details in.
Creativity.
Whether it would happen, really happened or not, it's my reality now.
Oh, isn't that interesting that you say that? Yeah. Natalie Cole has a song, "My Reality." I love that song. Do 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 do. Oh yeah. So but that's interesting that you would say that because then we have to think about how much of the detail is actual and factual or created.
Mhm.
You know, that's interesting. But I just when I listen to you speak, that's the one thing I think about, and not necessarily you consciously having that insight, but divine insight on
Yeah.
what you wouldn't be able to do at some point. So how important it was for you to for that to be your personality, for that to be a characteristic in you to remember detail. That's awesome. Adrienne, tell us about your show and the different things that you do.
I don't do nothing but run my mouth. No, I'm just joking. My show on the podcast, because I have several shows, is Can We Talk with Adrienne. Um, I talk about issues. I only talk about things I know about, and issues and relationships in family, neighborhoods, communities, and religion. And I add politics only because I will talk about it every once in a while. I have a co-host who comes on the third um, Friday of every month, Marcus, who talks about, I keep forgetting what it is.
Paradigm shifts.
Paradigm shifts. And I like that topic because it's so open. And it's set up now in this, he just changed the way it's set up, like a boardroom. And everybody comes in and brings their concepts and their idea to make things better in the community. So it's an interesting conversations when people come on. Sometimes people come on and they're quiet, but he has a way sometimes, waking people up and getting them involved in the conversation. So I think it's an interesting concept. My background is in family, particularly family violence. So starting this month, one Friday a month, I'm going to talk about family relationships, interfamily relationships, which includes domestic violence. With the my last Friday, I talked about domestic violence with men as the victims, and of course, sometimes these conversations tend to get off on another subject, which I love when that happens because that's the subject that needs to be spoken about. So I'm going to come back to that in 2 Fridays from now. Domestic violence, men's role as a victim. So it's interesting. Fridays at 6 p.m. Come on in, join the conversation.
Thank you. Can we talk with Adrienne? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Wait, so thank you. So I was listening to someone tell a story. Okay, so here's my habit. I mentioned I have a habit of staying in my lane, of being quiet. If you don't have something good to say, say nothing. But this didn't happen in this conversation. So in this conversation, the person is saying to me, I don't know why I picked this person to escort me to this event because they never know how to act. They always want attention. I mean, one minute they could be good and cool, and the next minute, out of nowhere. So I said, you said this before 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying that to me? I'm just trying to say something. So I said, no, I know. I hear what you're saying. But you've said this before, not only 3 years ago, along the way between now and then. Oh, you're acting like the other one. I said, what are you talking about? I'm just saying. I said, why are you saying it, though? What do you want me to say? Nothing? Nothing? Or do you want me to say, oh, yeah, I understand. Yep, that's how he is. Yep, Some people just want you to be a yes man or a yes lady, right?
Yes.
But that's not my personality. That's not my characteristic, right? My characteristic is if I see something, I must say something. And especially if it's important. And this is going to be an important event for her. So I said to her, why did you choose him? Why did you choose him? When you're saying all of this that you know, no one's telling you this. You know all of these things about him. And since she's chosen him, it's been one thing after another, according to her story, because I'm not there, one thing after another, after another, after another. Why did you choose him? If you know all of this. So sometimes when you bring it to people, people don't like it because it is them. It is them. And they don't want to face the it until they step in the shit or something. But I'm just saying, they don't want to face the it. But you are the it. You'll have people who will uproot themselves, move to another area, and take themselves with them, packed up, right? And then they get the same results in that new space because they are the it that they're traveling with. They haven't decluttered, which is really important to do. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm doing my best to declutter. I'm going on the slowly but surely. I am practicing. How do I say this correctly? So I've been watching on social media the transformation of people who have bariatric surgery. And part of it is after the surgery, you have to have liquids. You have to then go to like purees, and then it's only like 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 6, like that in increments. I said, I'm going to begin eating post-surgery, like bariatric patients or bariatric participants. Let me watch that word. Participants, to see if the same results could be attained by changing the way you eat, because your stomach is a muscle that can actually shrink. It can shrink because kind of like atrophy. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. But the stomach could shrink. But not everyone who eats a lot is filling their stomach. They're not eating to a fullness feeling. They just eat because they like to eat. However, I've noticed that many people who are going through the surgery regain the weight because the weight is not based on the volume
Right.
that their stomach holds. As we're learning on this podcast and others, the physiological chemistry has a lot to do with fat storing, fat production, fat usage, and how you use your nutrients. If you take any in. Oops, if you take any in, right? So there are people who gain the weight back because their weight gain is hormonal. It has nothing to do with consumption.
Mm-hmm.
So I am working on both of those things because I do know I have estrogen dominance. So I threw somebody for a loop the other day when I told them I wanted to lose 90 pounds. They couldn't quite understand what I would look like losing 90 pounds because I don't look my weight. How nice. I don't look my weight.
Can I share something?
Absolutely. That's why we're here.
So I can share? That's why you're here?
Sharing is caring.
I'm just in a place where I'm sharing this more and more. Maybe 6 years ago, I'm 5 feet tall. I was 480 pounds, and I knew several people that had the bariatric surgery. And I knew 5 people, 3 of which were successful, 2 which weren't, which I mean, they end up, overeating and having major medical problems as a result. And I knew of one that actually died because she wasn't following the diet and she actually died. And I decided I want to lose weight, but I don't want to do that. So what I did was I went online. I talked to people who I knew were nutritionists, and it did talk to everybody but my doctor because doctors just put you on medication, and I didn't want to be on medication. And I started my own journey, and then along the journey I met Forrest and his group. And so going through that natural, I love between John and Abdul and what's his name? The other one that comes on and talks about the nutrition and eating one meal a day. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I realized that that's not for everybody. But I had to change my mindset, not the eating, and changing my mindset. I've been successful, and thus far I lost 280. It took me 2 years, but I lost 280, and I'm still going, and I'm motivated to keep going because I'm not starving. I'm not taking diet pills. I just increased my nutrition and decreased, the fat. One thing I had to do a self-assessment, and my biggest self-assessment was that I like junk food. So I had to cut that down, if not totally out on some levels. So that's helped me. Diet plans have never helped me. Believe me, I think I tried every diet around, but it never helped me. It wasn't until I had to come, how the Bible says, come to myself and say, Adrian, look, and I had to listen to myself. You have to do what makes sense. Just increase your fiber, eat healthier foods. Yes, I had to do some exercise. I was on an exercise plan, and go that way, and that's worked for me. And when you lose the right way, it stays off. Considering you don't go back to your old way of eating.
It's a lifestyle change. It's
Oh,
not
definitely.
a quick diet or so what my idea is to do what Bruce Lee did. So Bruce Lee used to puree his food, and mainly because when nutrition goes in better, it
Yeah.
goes in better. Your body uses less energy to have to break it down. And so, along with the post bariatric plan and joining the Y again. Oh, I joined before and went 4 times, but I'm just saying. Actively, well, I joined and I went, I'm just saying, who's counting? Me. So, those combinations of things, I just want to see. I'm going to give myself to September, and it's not pressure. I am healthy. I did great blood work the other day. Okay, so it's not funny unless you find it funny. I can't stick me and spin it and give the results. So I cannot take my own blood, put it in the spinner, get the results on my own. So that's why I go and visit the doctors. So the doctor took my blood the other day, and I cannot wait to see the results. I get a kick out of seeing the results because, one, I really adore the doctors that I use because they hear and they listen.
Mhm.
And so as he was preparing to give the resident the orders for what to order, I said, so what else can we do? Right? Because I don't want to just know about cholesterol and sugar and, well, your lipids are for your cholesterol, my iron, the typical things that they put on the list for the neighborhoods that they're operating in. And, not to fault anybody, I want some real stuff. I want to know what my hormones are doing at this point in my life. I want to know what my liver and my pancreas, I want to know what everything is freaking doing. Don't call it a physical if you're not going to get down on the physical. So he ordered more detailed tests, and I then take those results to 3 different specialists so they could read them accordingly. And why do I do that? Because what the FDA and the AMA, American Medical Association, and then all those other people, what they list as quote unquote normal for the herd is not necessarily normal for me because we're not
It's
herders.
not normal for everybody. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So they generalize. So I sent out, and I'll send it out. So you can email me at teamfollowme@yahoo.com, or you can search salt and water, SALT, salt and water. This, I don't know if she's a doctor or a nutritionist or a combination, but she gives a wonderful talk on the power of Celtic salt and water.
Okay. As
And,
long as you didn't say, well, not talking about table salt, because that's the worst salt.
well, table salt
It's
is
horrible.
sand, it's sand, glass, and salt, and
Yeah.
it's refined.
I just know
And,
it's not good for you.
well, that's what it is. And that is why not just cholesterol, but all types of waste can get into your arteries and cause arteriosclerosis. Because if you're using those salts, the typical table salts, the glass is stripping your arteries. And when your arteries are stripping or being stripped and weakened, it allows for waste and stuff to get in. And that's what can cause arteriosclerosis is hardening of the arteries. And I always tell people, whatever's going on in one part of your body, wait, hold on a second, because I'm almost finished this drink, and I think I'm going to be disappointed because the sun is still up. I don't know how long it will last, and I need the sun to go down to see if it's really going to be a blast. Right? So I know that the Celtic salt, and based on Brother Abdul on the Health Man show, he gave us a story on the Celtic salt. But this young lady, she's given a class, and so what you're watching is her teaching the class. A crystal of Celtic salt on your tongue, followed by a glass of water. That is how the water gets into your cells. She stated that you'll have people who will say, oh, I drink a lot of water, but it only runs me to the bathroom, because the water is not getting into your cells. It's pretty much staying on the surface of your body, internally, but on the surface. Your body needs salt in order to absorb the water. Isn't that odd?
Yeah, I was told that.
And it's not just any salt. And that is why people get high blood pressure. So I always ask people who are on high blood pressure medication, do they tell you why your pressure is high? They say no. But they'll put you on 3 different drugs. They'll put you on a beta blocker.
Mm-hmm.
They'll put you on a water pill, which men hate the water pill because, just for the record, blood pressure medication causes impotence of a sort because blood flow gives you erection. And water pills are dehydrating you. So you need volume. You need the blood volume, need the water volume for everything in your body to work. And that's why with that blood pressure medication, definitely the water pill, and they have another one that seems to be super common now. I can't spell it, but it's AMPLODINE, something like that. That's the new thing they put out, like Cheese Whiz, or like Cheese Whiz. It can't be really helping you if you don't know why your pressure is high. But if your arteries are weak and the blood cannot flow, then you could have high blood pressure and you could have low blood pressure, both of them. I know a young lady, she went to a wellness center and they gave her something for her lupus, and it had taurine in it. And so when she was telling me, it looped her, LOOPED, it looped her. It tore her down. Similar to, she said, when she takes, it was something else that she took that did the same thing. So I told her it could either be dropping your pressure or dropping your sugar. And when we looked it up, it could do both. So it was taking her down. So I suggested that she gets or uses the blood pressure. Like if it ever happens, if she ever gets that feeling again, to take her pressure, because you don't want to try to treat one thing if it's something else. But if your pressure is low, and if I have this wrong, please correct me while a million people are listening. A million people are listening. Isn't that funny? Soon, though. Soon. If your pressure is low, you can eat something salty, and it can bring your pressure up. Is that correct?
That's what they say.
The same as if your sugar is low, you can eat something sweet to bring your sugar up. Is that
Yeah, that's
correct?
what they say, but that's not really healthy. You know,
Explain.
most of the time they'll eat. Somebody will say, "Give me a piece of candy or a candy bar or something," but you don't want to bring your sugar up or your salt up so fast that it makes you loopy.
Okay, so it's all in moderation. I know they
Right.
said that bananas bananas and orange juice are like instant energy. Now
Yeah.
here's the story with bananas since we're talking about oh no, that was the okay, that's tonight after here's the story with bananas, right? So bananas have potassium which is good for blood pressure. But if you're being treated for blood pressure and they're watching your kidneys, okay, so blood pressure medication and diabetic medication causes kidney failure. Do we know that?
Yes.
Okay. So when you are on blood pressure medication and then your kidneys are starting to be monitored, they'll tell you stop eating bananas. But I know this well, bananas and grapefruits, all the things you love that are really good for you. If you know what they're good for, you can kind of replace one thing to get something else in order. However, I know this gentleman who did not take his medication, so he's on the statin drugs for cholesterol. He's on blood pressure medication, and he has nitro, but that's only if he gets chest pains. But chest pains come because magnesium is being depleted from the body based on the statin drugs. So, but he goes to the doctor, and he goes to the renal doctor. That's kidney. He goes to the
Mhm.
kidney doctor. They take his pressure. His pressure's normal. So they were happy about that. So they said, oh, you're taking your medication, da 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 da. He said, well, I actually haven't taken it for a week. They really? They took his pressure again. The doctor took his pressure. Then after he saw it, because, when the doctor's coming in, your pressure rises anyway. You're just so excited, you don't know what's going on, right? But before he exited, he said they took it again 4 times while he was on that visit, and his pressure was normal. He did not take his medications for a week. And he had bananas twice that week. So everybody's different. And if you're listening, you're one of the million people who are listening. I'm not diagnosing you and I'm not telling you what to do. I am sharing information. Oh, wait. Informational purposes only. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, right. I'm sharing information. Oh, educational purpose. Well, no. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, educational purposes and informational purposes and FYI times 19, kind of evaluate yourself and monitor yourself and look at what your prescribed medications are supposed to be doing in your body to give them the results they want. That's so important. What is the medication doing in your body? And then compare that to the things you're being told not to eat and what they medicinally, nutritionally can do for your body. Oh, I get everything I asked for. My antennas were up yesterday, and I was listening to, I can't remember her name, but Salt and Water. Please look that up. Listening to her, one of the things I always, I don't quote the Bible too often. There's a lot of books out there I don't quote. But I always use this one where it says, when I'm talking about health and wellness, when I'm sharing information, that in all of the books, actually, it says, I have given you all that you need. Well,
Mhm.
listening to Salt and Water, because I tell people all the time, I can't tell you what scripture it is. I just know it's in there. It's Genesis 1:28 and 29, and probably 30 and 31 and 32. Because she mentions it yesterday in her lesson about eating healthy and eating the berries and eating the foods that have been given to us by the Creator. But not just eating them, but knowing what they are good for. I have a gentleman, he says, as soon as you get your license and hang it on the wall, I'll listen to you. But just ask the doctor. And so, upon visiting the doctor, sometimes with him, I'll share with the doctor. I'll do what he said. I'll ask the doctor. And the doctor agrees, but the gentleman still doesn't do it. And I can't help that. I can only share what I receive because I'm a receiver and a deliverer with the antennas that are so high up in the sky, they brush the clouds and the planes have to go around them. I can say that in one breath now. I guess I'm doing okay with that one. However, please watch Salt and Water. Please watch Salt and Water because I believe that we would be in much better health collectively. Like the guy who told me he was going to kiss me on the cheek. I was like, oh baby, what's the matter with you? I'm gonna kiss you. I'm gonna give you a real slow. He said, what's wrong with you, girl? I had that. I was like, oh, then you definitely will not be kissing me or nothing. No, please. What was that supposed to be, a pass? Oh God, no, that's a red light. But anywho, so subject, anyone? Okay, well, see, I take like 3 deep breaths. You didn't hear me moaning. I hope not. This blast drink, I'm going to tell you, it's really a blast. And I love ginger. You can almost put ginger on any and everything. Oh, ginger ice cream. That might be good. What you think, Adrian? I think that sounds good. Ginger ice cream.
I'm walking around with my phone because somebody was at my door, and I heard you say ginger ice cream, and my whole face just turned up just a little ill. I never
Nah, that would be good.
Ginger ice cream, as much as I love ginger.
But have you never had ginger beer?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so now just imagine ginger beer, ginger ice cream.
Ginger beer.
You didn't like it, you said?
No.
Oh,
I don't even like ginger hard candy, but I'll put fresh ginger in my food and in my smoothies.
Well, what's the difference between a smoothie? What's the difference between a smoothie and ice cream, other than colder temperature?
I haven't tasted it, but I just don't think I'd like it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I'll make that today. So, yeah, I think a healthy ice cream. Well. Let me share. So the other day I was out with a friend who's a vegetarian, and we stopped at one of her favorite places. The food was actually divine. But they also have ice cream, and the base of the ice cream is coconut milk, and I love coconut, anything usually.
I've had that.
But when I put that ice cream in, and I told them while I was in there, I said, I have not been in here in over 20 years. Literally, maybe over 25 years. They've been there for 40 years. And I know I never ate their food, so obviously it was their ice cream. But when I put that ice cream in my mouth, it was horrible. It was, to my taste, it was horrible. It was just like sweet syrup. Ugh. It was not good. Which explained, I told myself I know why I hadn't been in there in over 25 years.
What was it?
It was ice cream. It was butter pecan ice cream, and it was coconut milk based, but it was just like sweet syrup. It had no.
No.
It was just too sweet and
no.
Yucky. They did have a grape nut, and the grape nut was good. It was refreshing. I love grape nut ice cream because it has a real. I like mixed. How do I say this? Mixed textures. So the grape nut I like because it's the soft ice cream, but then the crunchy grape nut, So I like that one. And that one wasn't sweet, but that butter pecan. And that's probably what I had the first time I went, maybe over 25 years. Never stepped back in there, no desire. But again, I never ate their food, but their food is good. I will have their food again one day. And, as we speak about good food, vegan and vegetarian food, on August 10th, the Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Progressive Podcast Network will be hosting a health and wellness fair in Newark, New Jersey at the Salvation Army on Ninth Street in Newark. I think that kind of comes to mind. But you can email or go to our website. It should be up on our website. Give it about a week. Grown Folk Talking, KIN Talking, no G, .com. And you'll see there all of our shows, and you'll be able to click on it. It'll lead you to the YouTube and all that other wonderful stuff. But August 10th, mark your calendar. It's free admission with vendors, so come prepared to shop, and we welcome donations. So, free admission, family fun, health, wellness, nutrition, exercises of some sort, treatments, different wellness treatments, and lots of information. And good food. This is what made me think about it somehow. Good food. So come prepared to shop. Bring some shingles with you. Oh, wait, no. Bring some coins, bills, or plastic. Prepared to shop, but definitely prepared to receive great information. Speaking of which, there's also 2 more trips coming up that summer of 2024. We have bus trips going to the Shinnecock Powwow in Southampton, New York. That's Labor Day weekend. But the first trip that we seem to have planned is the trip to the shrimp. Let's get a shrimp and a ship all together. Wait, Adrian, what did you put in this smoothie? What did you put? I done mixed a ship and a shrimp. Watch it.
Putting a what?
In this smoothie.
Oh.
So, let me watch myself. Shake it.
Are you waiting for an answer, or are you just joking?
You said about twerking?
I said, are you just joking, or are you waiting for an answer? I think you're smoking something on there, Evadyne.
I hope not. It's I'm not too far. I think I'll go get another one. For real. Okay, wait. Let's go back to the trips. It's going to the Halleck Farm, the Halleck U-Pick Farm, leaving from Newark, and we have a bus leaving from Brooklyn. And it's a farm in New Egypt, New Jersey. The date for that is July 20th with a rain date of July 27th. So, and that's hosted by Marcus, who is co-host on Can We Talk with Adrian, third Fridays of the month, and here on the Grown Folk Talking Network podcast. And I think that's it for trips and events coming up. Right? I think something else was being planned. I just can't remember what it is right now, but stay tuned. And go visit my website, networkingforsuccess.info. Please go participate in the 1 million books into 1 million hands, hearts, minds, and homes. You go to networkingforsuccess.info, click on promo, purchase, share, tell a friend or 20. 1 million books will affect over 11 million people. Go to my YouTube. You will see, and or hear one of the greatest interviews hosted by Les Boogie, one-on-one with Dahlia Manette and Tattletale. And I was interviewed, and it was absolutely wonderful. We talked about the books and a few other things. They also, if you go to Les Boogie, one-on-one is just all together, no spaces. They hosted a very good show on dementia the week before that, March 12th, and the guests have actually created a special program, a special initiative for people with dementia or early diagnosis. Now, let's go back to salt and water. Believe it or not, she spoke about a couple that attended her retreat and who had come to her to speak. They were speaking to her because she shared how this salt in water could cleanse the plaque that causes the symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia. The symptoms. See, because the profession looks at symptoms and then they write prescriptions. Even when people present to the emergency room, spinning around, acting erratically, they automatically click on drugs or mental illness. If they click on mental illness, they then set you up for evaluation in ER. Then they issue psychotic medication. See, drugs would allow them to detox you. I say, and I put it in the book, if someone presents without a history, because here's the craziness, as long as you have ID, they could look in the system and get a general observation of your medical care. So if you don't have a history of anything mental, emotional, psychological, then I feel they should allow you to detox. They should allow you, give you IV, and give you 24 hours. Because whatever's in your system could have just been presented to you. You know, people be slipping people's stuff because they think it's funny. There's nothing funny about that. I know there's nothing funny about my comedy show today either, but this is serious. There's nothing funny about somebody being slipped a chemical that changes who they are. But I say 24 hours of saline, glucose, glucose I think they give you in the IV generally just to rehydrate you, right? Oh, it's funny. Maybe it is saline solution. Maybe that's why they use it. Oh, maybe that's why they do use the saline solution in the IV, because the salt allows the water to get into the cells. Ding! And this is being recorded so I can look back on it. Well, you see how it all kind of comes together? Yeah. So, but let people rest and see if they come back to an order, and reach out to family before you start giving them psychotic medication. Because once you start with the psychotic medication, guess what? They're on it. And you have changed who they are. That is the purpose of it, right? You have changed who they naturally are before the twist and the turn and whatever happened in that 24-hour period. So we have to be very mindful of those things. But along with all of that and more, we are here on the Grown Folk Talking Network. Does anyone have a subject they like to give me to see if I have a... Please don't come up with hip-hop and rap. We already talked about, I know, like 1%. 1%. And if you talk about gospel music, I will tell you that reggae was my gospel back in the 70s and 80s. Reggae music and the lyrics of reggae music, it was my gospel, which, if you listen to it, you would understand, because it was taking you higher. It was elevating your consciousness. Aw, that's Michael, right? Elevate your consciousness. What's the name of his book? What is the name of his book? Michael Robin Collins. It is Ushering in the Golden Years. Ushering in the Golden Years, Elevate Your Consciousness. Did I ever tell y'all about that book? Okay, let me tell y'all about that book. Short story. So I went to an event that Carol invited me to, and I took my book for her. She, at the same time, brought me Michael's book, Ushering in the Golden Years, Elevate Your Consciousness. When we exchange, okay, no, here's the backstory. Anybody remember the backstory to that?
No.
Okay,
but I'm listening.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And good afternoon, Vietnam. So here's the backstory. So I first met Michael. Anybody remember when I met Michael? Okay. I met Michael at his memorial service. Grown Folk Talking had a memorial service for him. And I was in the supermarket. It was cling, 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 clang, clang, clang. It was late at night. They had the buffers on the floor. I didn't have my earpiece in. I had the phone at the top of this. And everybody's talking about him. And I'm listening to what people are saying about Michael Robin Collins. And I'm visualizing him. And I'm thinking, damn, he reminds me of me. The nerve of me, right? Nobody get offended yet. But he did. Like everything that they were saying, except for massaging the kale. I don't really massage kale, but I've heard it since then as people do it. But I was like, dang. And then through all the cling, cling, clang, clang, buffers on the floor, phone at the top of the cart, no earpiece, I hear my name. I'm like, wait, what? What? And I wasn't hearing things. I'm like, why would Forrest say my name? Like, what? This is how my mind was going, right? So, still listening and loving. I literally fell in love with Michael Robin Collins. And not because he reminded me of me, but because of everything that he was based on the way people spoke about him. And so I started saying, I'm in love with the dead man. That's what I was going around saying. I'm in love with the dead man. Okay. So there was a connection between Michael and I for a purpose, and the purpose was served from what I understand. But prior to my understanding that, when I went to the event that Carol invited me to, and I had my book and she had his book, I already knew we were connected, 100%. So, you kind of say things on an earthly, well, not me, but most people say things on an earthly level. I know it's bigger than us. That is my staple phrase. It's bigger than us. So it's off of the earth, and it's universal. It's galactic of a sort. When she handed me his book and I handed her mine, we have almost the exact same book covers. And I just looked at her. I said, I told you. But it was all for purpose. Things happen in your life to get your attention. Things happen. So not only were the books of similar covers, but listen to this. The title of my book is Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. The title of his book is Ushering the Golden Years, Elevate Your Consciousness. I could see them being brother and sister. Anybody see that? Okay. So I see it. I'm sorry?
Just had a thought, but please continue.
Yeah. I see that because the Let's End It Today is to stop what I call circumstantial suicides. There are people who feel like, okay, I'm done. I'm finished. I've done all I have to do. And if they're not super religious, believing that if you do something like that, you're not going to go to heaven, which is here on earth, by the way. But, depending on what their beliefs are, if you feel like, you've done all you need to do and want to do and this, then okay, that's up to you. I just say don't leave an empty hole. Don't leave a wondering. Definitely don't leave people broke. Right? I'm sorry, but the truth is a fact. Don't leave people broke.
Evadyne.
Hi.
This is Adrian. I got to go.
It's been such a pleasure.
Yes, I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you. It's been a blast. Wink, wink. It's been a blast. Okay, so where are we? So circumstantial suicide to me is what I would like to end. And I call it circumstantial suicide because it has nothing to do with the person's decision. It has to do with other circumstances. So I feel that the two books are like brother and sister because the position of let's end it today, let's stop suicides, and then Michael's book, Ushering the Golden Years, well, that would be the next step. Like if we're going to stop suicide, then maybe we're going to keep living. Ushering the Golden Years, elevate your consciousness. So I really see them. It was confirmation to me that there was a true connection and a purpose. And again, the purpose was served. And a purpose for me to connect literally probably to the Grown Folk Talking Network because that was a spoof in itself. I don't know if and so going back to when I heard Forrest say my name on Michael's memorial, I'm like, what the heck? But it got my attention. And when I listened to the recording, then I realized why he was saying my name, because he was saying that he met Michael through the same gentleman he met me through. That's how, which was a spoof in itself, literally. But everything happens the way it's supposed to. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. And when I don't know where the button would be on our bodies for us to raise our antennas. I don't know where it would be. I don't know where to direct people to touch on their bodies, or maybe what they should touch the navel. Oh, go ahead, Marcus. Tell a story. Go on, brother. Let me hear it. Tell the story. Go ahead. Let's hear it, Marcus.
Yeah, you touch your navel, since it is where your brain is, and by touching that button, of course, it's going to send some signals everywhere, and those signals are eventually going to raise the antennae to get the reception wherever it comes to, so that it can come back to you.
I accept. It was a song, Touch My Body. I can't see the art. You're going to know that too. Go ahead, Marcus. Whose song was that, Touch My Body?
Mariah.
Who? Mariah?
Mariah.
Okay. See, listen, I know what I know, but what I don't know, I don't go on and ask somebody for help. But now we have to kind of coin that touch your navel thing. Because we speak about the navel a bit much where, is it Ayurvedic medicine, they actually rub essential oils in the navel because the navel is attached to 16,000 veins in every major organ. So thank you for that, Marcus. Thank you. But now, so to go back to the universe and Forrest and Stan, who Forrest met both me and Michael through, I came upon Stan while driving to Maryland and in the rest area waiting for my brother. He came through the door. We met eye to eye. I said, I know you. I've seen you before. He said, in your dreams. I said, maybe. Go to the bathroom. I'll be here when you come out. Right? I mean, I don't know. And it turned out that we knew the same people who I had not been associated with for probably about maybe 15 years. But we knew the same people, so we interacted in the same place at least once, 15, 16, 17 years ago. But I don't forget a face, and I try not to pay attention to purpose. So meeting Stan brought me to the Billionaire Mastermind Forum to speak about my book. Forrest was listening to that. And that's how I came onto the Grown Folk Talking, first as a guest with Forrest and then being offered a show. So that's how all of that came full circle. Something else just came full circle the other day. Hopefully it'll come to me. But we have to pay attention, you know. Okay, so Marcus, I don't know if you have the message, and anyone else who's listening, because it's almost that time for me to go and get another blast. The blast. Everyone knows the blast joke with me and Adrian just now, right? So, no? Maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Hold on. Say it again.
No.
Let's see. So it was the men's super blast and the bedroom blast. So I'm drinking, I was, it's over now, a smoothie. And it's a combo smoothie. And the combination is the men's super blast and the bedroom blast. But it didn't have any ingredients that were specifically for men. But that's what I was drinking. But it had ginger in it, so we were definitely okay with that. So, okay. And so the idea today, it was supposed to be a funny show. I was launching on this network, Grown Folk Talking, comedy a la carte. You give me a subject, I'll tell a story. Because I was told I'm not funny, I just tell good stories. I beg to differ, but what I am noticing that I'm not, which I don't do anyway, it's different. It has to be natural. It cannot be planned. But go ahead. If someone has a subject they'd like to give me, and please don't say it's almost 6 o'clock. I already know that. But go ahead.
Oh, Evadyne.
Oh, no. You can't use that subject either. You can't. No.
Caught me. All right. I was trying to get one in there. Okay. Okay. All right. How about choke sandwiches?
Who?
Choke sandwiches.
FOLKSOLDIERS?
No. You missed that. Oh, that one just went right by you. CHOKE. Space. SANDWICHES.
What's the second word?
Sandwiches.
Choke sandwiches?
Yes.
After I just finished drinking this men's blast and bedroom blast drink, you want to talk about you want to discuss a choke sandwich? Ah, man, that would be a dry joke. No. No.
And you put it out. You say, give you a topic.
Give me a TOPIC.
There you go.
Choke sandwich. A Minanomancha. Minano with a choke sandwiches. I think this is just a setup. Just a setup. What the blood?
I don't know what a choke.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh my God! Everybody's had a choke sandwich. You've all had a choke sandwich in their lives.
Nah, man. Irie Bredgen. Easier.
I bet you have. Peanut butter, no jelly, between two pieces of bread. Maybe wheat bread. Maybe rye. No jelly. No milk. No water. No soda. Just 2 pieces of bread and peanut butter. That is a choke sandwich. If you never heard one before.
I know it sounds like a choke sandwich. Peanut butter, no jelly.
No jelly. Just peanut butter.
Choking already.
That's it.
Choking
Nothing to drink either. No chaser. No chaser. Mm-mm.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
I got all choked up. Forgive me, for I have sinned. I couldn't handle that one. It would be let me do this right. That was a big one. But no, but what is a choke sandwich again?
It's peanut butter between bread. No jelly.
You know what that is for real? No, really. Now, let me tell you something. With everything that's been going on, I've been stocking up on peanut butter. Because if all hell breaks loose again, I know you can eat off of peanut butter alone. So that's a serious one for me. No, I don't know. I don't have a joke for that. I don't even have a well, there was my story. I'm stocking up. I'll leave alone the bread and just have a tablespoon of peanut butter midday. How's that?
No chaser. No chaser. No jelly.
Not if it's a choke sandwich. You said a choke sandwich.
Choke sandwich. Oh my goodness.
Oh, but let me tell you. Okay, go ahead.
You said you're going to dig into the jar with the. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And if you get the peanut butter with the flax seed, you're gonna really be on point. Oh well, somebody is anyway.
Something's gonna be doing something. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what.
I'm just saying. So wait. But let me tell you, if you eat meat, well, I'm still talking about food for real, right? But if you eat meat and you make a sandwich, put mustard on one side of the bread and jelly on the other. And when I tell you, your mouth will be happy. And guess what? You don't even have to be a meat eater. Even if you were using veggies, like my favorite sandwich is lettuce and tomatoes, mayonnaise, salt, and pepper. That's like my favorite. But put put mustard on one side and jelly on the other side. When I tell you, your mouth will be happy. It is so good.
Can you do that with a hamburger?
You can do it with a hamburger. Not impossible. I don't know what the impossible thing is, but you could do it with a hamburger. You could do it with cheese. You can do it. I mean, I had mine with meat, but as I was saying, if you eat meat, but even if you don't eat meat, if you had avocado, if you had anything else, spinach sandwich, like people make sandwiches with like the spinach and everything, or even if you did a wrap, if you did a veggie wrap and you use mayonnaise and why I keep saying mayonnaise? I must need to buy some mustard and jelly. Jesus Christmas. I use Jesus Christmas a lot. It's one of those synonymous things. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, let me just remind folks. Following this show today, it's Monday at 6:30 p.m. We have Kai, who speaks about community unification, bringing it all together for growth, development, and success. Following him, we have King David at 8 p.m. His show is called BS, but it has to do with health and wellness, your basic life purpose and different things to make sure that you're healthy. And he asks the question, what can he do for you, and what do you want to get out of his show? Tomorrow, 7 a.m., we have the prayer line, followed at 6 p.m., Grace Space with Jada and Deborah and Karen, and then the Pink Sofa Talk at 7:30. Grown Folk Talking, 520-525-8633. And you can find us on the app somewhere. I think it's joinhuddle.team, and the meeting ID is Grown Folk. And now we also have a website, Grown Folk Talking, no G, grownfolktalking.com, and you can visit the YouTube, Grown Folk Talking. You express yourself, you know you're at the right place because you're going to see the hot mic. And then, no, really, before that, you can go to networkingforsuccess.info, which is my website. Go take a look around. There's so much there to see. Go to travel sales and register to get your own travel and shopping portal where you can book your own travel and you can shop at all of your major stores. Discounts or equal to what you will find elsewhere, but because you heard it here, go register. It costs you nothing to register. If you never use it, you never use it, but if you do, you'll be happy about it. And then go to promo, where you can get the 2 ebooks and support the 1 million books into 1 million hands, hearts, minds, and homes, ultimately affecting over 11 million people because each one person knows 10. So that's that for that. So what did y'all think about this story with Michael and me? You know, I wonder what he thinks about it, actually. I guess I'll get a message tonight. But wait. But what do you think about that? Wasn't that's like crazy?
That was on time. That was on point.
Yeah, that
was. Really
was. But we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to who and how we're connected and the purpose. Sometimes when people meet, I'm not going to just say men and women because they're same-sex relationships, but when people meet and there is an attraction, people sometimes lead that attraction in the direction they want it to go in rather than seeking the purpose of the attraction, because the attraction is to get your attention. That's what the attraction is about. It's like, but where you take it may not be where it should go. So kind of stay steady. Back up a little bit. Stay steady. See the purpose so we could be living in a greater world, in my opinion. In my opinion. You see. Okay, we have 10 minutes left. No, choke sandwich. Can I have a subject to talk about? Uh-oh. And here you go again. Okay, Marcus, go ahead. Not rap. No hip-hop. Marcus, you were there. Am I wrong when I say that CCC show was like a brother's playground when y'all were talking about hip hop and rap and stuff I know 1% about?
It flowed very well. I mean, for what it was pleasantly surprising that everybody who chimed in was able to bring, nostalgia, some information, experiences, some knowledge, all to the table, and it all connected. It's like a trip down memory lane, and it was very good, very memorable. I still remember it like it was just, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was that. It was there. It was really there.
It was. It was. And I like when wow. I have a final story. 9 minutes. I guess I can do that in 9 minutes. Speaking of memorable. But yes, so I remember it that well and that way. And again, I had no problem being in the back seat later for the passenger seat. I just had no problem being in the back seat of that. And even though it wasn't a subject that I was familiar with, and I can't say I retained anything new, not that it wasn't given, but I was just happy to see you all on the playground playing fair and nice. But here's a story to go away with before I do that. Anyone have anything else to say? Thank you for that, Marcus. Thank you for being present. Thank you, everybody, for being on. But I have a good story to end with. And when you said memorable, Marcus, that brought it to me. Anyone? Beep, beep, beep. Okay. So So before I begin, I will tell you, I love love, right? I love love. Okay. So I'm part of the Urban League, school leadership team president. We're going away for the weekend. The whole team. Not a menage a trois, not an orgy. We're going away for the weekend. Okay. Training. So I hook up with a lady on the bus. And we talk. We're going to call her Miss E. And she's not me, but we're going to call her Miss E, right? And we're talking. So when we get there, we check into the hotel. We decide we're going to room together. This is at the Tarrytown Hilton. When I tell you this place was beautiful, this place was beautiful. And we're sitting around waiting because, this hotel industry has this thing where they call it 3 days and 2 nights, but you can't check in till after 4, and you have to be out by 11. And I don't know what you all know, but a day is 24 hours. You only get like 47 hours, or if that many, at a hotel on a 3-day, 2-night anything, because you're in after dark and you're out before the sun damn going rises. But anywho, so we're checking in, but we couldn't check in. So we're sitting out in the garden. And I was married then, right? I was married to husband number 1. And I said, I really, really love this place. And I'm looking around, and it was a beautiful day, sun shining, just really San Diego-ish, right? And I've never been. I hear stories, and I accept them. And so I know San Diego weather is like heaven on earth for real. And so I said, if I ever got married again, I would want it to be in such a setting, a park, a backyard, outside. So the ladies said, if you ever got married again. So I said, yeah, if I ever got married again. I said, well, I'm married now, but, if I ever got married again, I would like to get married in a setting. I said, but actually, since you ask, there's only one man I could think about marrying right now. And I began to describe this man, right? He wasn't in my head. He was in real life, and he smelled real good. This man used to wear Paul Sebastian fine cologne. And when I tell you, any gentlemen who are listening, who's looking, if you really want to find a woman, you get that PS fine cologne and you gently put it on. And when I tell you, you're going to need some security. Not from me. You're going to need some security. But anyway, this gentleman was a fine piece of Bayesian work, right? And he was very, and I don't know if you know Bayesian men, even if they're your friends, whatever, but they have this really, I think I hear one. They have this really kind, chivalrous, gentlemanly way. In a sort, you would almost think they were gay. That's how kind they behave, in a nice, gentle, smooth way, but they're not. Okay. Well, I don't know, but I'm saying that's just kind of like their way. So I'm describing this man, and the lady that I'm rooming with, you know what she said? Anybody guess what she said? Take a wild guess what the woman says.
That's my husband.
She said, it sounds like you're talking about my brother-in-law. I said, what did I say? Because you know me, right? Anybody who know me, know me. What did I say? I said, what's his name? And she said his name, and I said, oh, my God, it is him. It was her brother-in-law. And I said, whoa. You know what that told me? That told me that I saw him for exactly who he was, that I wasn't making him up to be what I wanted him to be in my mind, because you know that happens. You meet people and you create your picture of them. I described him, and it wasn't tall, dark, nothing. It was his way. It was his way, and the way of his way. Oh, that was nice. I'm glad this is recorded. And the way of his way, right? And it was really her brother-in-law, and it was so you know we're friends still today. She and I. But it was crazy. And then what are we in? 23, 20, 19, 80. About 18 years later, I'm thinking about this woman all week, thinking about her, and I'm saying, oh, my God. And I kept trying the numbers that were in my head. And then I ride with a friend to Harlem, and while we're leaving Harlem and headed back to Brooklyn, I realized that he kind of detoured, and I was like, oh, my God, we're right here by her house. And who's standing on the corner? Me and my damn antennas. Who's standing on the corner? She is. And so what do? I scream. He pulls over. And where is she going? She's going to Brooklyn. I was like, girl, get on in here later for accessorize. We got this. And she sat in the back of the car and she said, Evadyne, to this day, I don't know why I said it. And that's what she's always said. I don't know why I said it. She don't know why she said it. That you sounds like you're talking about my brother-in-law. But God dang. But I love my pictures and my mind and how my mind works, and that I see people for who they are, not for who I want them to be. And I've kind of learned how to put things into proper perspective. So, in light of that, in the time of day, I am going to say, hey. But what did y'all think of that story? Really quickly. I know, that's what I said. It was crazy.
Too good for words.
Say it again, Susan.
Too good for words.
I'm telling you, that was hot. And I'm glad I remember. I hope I never forget that story. Never, ever, ever forget that story. It was so perfect. So, anyone else, any final comments? Would you like to announce your shows or anything like that? We have about, we're minus 20 seconds. Anyone?
Really quick, every third Friday of the month, the World Folk Talking Network, I co-host with Adrian on Candy Talk with Adrian at 6 p.m. I'm Marcus. My show is Paradigm Shifts. I talk about community. I talk about neighborhoods, associations. I talk about everything community and how it can come together with a change of your mind.
You only got one. Anyone else? Any comments? Any thoughts? Any excitement? Okay, now. Going once, going twice. Oh, I sound like Forrest now, right? Going once, going twice. All right now. All right. Well, this is Evadyne with Company. Talk worth listening to here on the Grown Folk Talking. Express Yourself Progressive Podcast Network. Please go and watch my interview. Go to likessr.com and see the wonderful interview on the Les Boogie one-on-one show. Have a great every day And come back again, 6:30 for Kai, 8 o'clock for King David, 7 a.m. for the prayer line tomorrow morning, 6 p.m. for Grace Space with Jada, and 7:30 p.m. for the Pink Sofa Talk. Peace.